Hello and welcome back to Aprilmaycodes. In this video, I'm working on my Flask moon phase planner some more, but I've actually done some work on it and the audio cut out in my last video. So I'm just going to go over kind of the changes that I've made. Hopefully I don't forget anything, and then I will get started. So I went ahead and added some new forms for my day page. So that's in daily forms.py. I added a task form, a journal entry form, and a gratitude entry form. So if we go back to day, I added a new row, well, two new rows actually. So for the first one, let's see, got the date and then the 3 calls that we made. And then I added this for journal in day.journals if the journal is unread. So if journal.read equals 0, because by default it's 1, then we'll add this, you have an unread journal with a link to journal.read journal, or read journal rather. So I created that template in my journal blueprint. This is journal.html. It's just going to print the written date, the prompt ID if there is one, and then the journal entry. And then in journal routes, I created this route to journal.read journal with the journal ID. So our journal entry equals journal.query.filter by ID equals the journal_ID that we pass in .first. And then we render template journal.html with the journal entry equaling the journal entry. So I added that so that we can see when we write a letter to our future selves, if there's a letter for that day, we'll get a notification to read it. I should add, once we visit that page, to change read to 1. I'll do that later though. Below that row, I added another row with 3 columns, just like the last one. And the first column is our tasks, and then I added 4 task in tasks, an unordered list to list the tasks. I'm going to make some changes to that today. And then the form, the task form, it'll have add the task, and then it'll say task and then have the add task. Or no, it'll have the box to add the task and then the add task button. The next column is add journal. So that's just always going to be a journal entry box. So we've got the entry. Below it, we've got the type and then the add journal button. And if you look back at my forms.py, journal entry also has a scheduled date and a prompt. So I'm going to be working on those in this video because those are optional fields. So I'll only want those to show up depending on what journal type is selected. So I'll be working on that in this video. And the final column is the gratitude. So right now it's just the form, but I need to actually change this to be if daily.gratitude exists, we're just going to post the gratitude. And if not, then we'll post the form to post gratitude for the day. And then below, in that same column, below the gratitude card, we have a card to list our journal entries. So for journal in day.journals, and then a link to read journal for that journal. And it'll just show the journal type and then the written date, which will be that day for most journals, but it may be a different day if it was a letter. And then I use CK editor. So it's running. So let me go here. Oops. We'll go to one of the days. And this is what it looks like. So we've got our tasks here, our add journal here with the different types of journals, and then our gratitude and our journal entries will be listed right here. So this is basically what I want the daily page to look like. This is always going to be here. This will be a list and then the add task at the bottom, and the list will be checkboxes, so you can check them if they're completed. And then daily gratitude, this will only be a form if there's no gratitude listed for that day. Otherwise, if I've typed something, this will show what we've typed once I put that code in. I think those are the only changes I made to the project. I wish I'd been able to upload that video, but the audio cut out and I didn't want to go back and redo all of it, take out all my changes and recode it all. But that's basically it. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I can go over it. Oh, I also added popovers. Let me show you those. Here, when we hover over the sun sign, it'll show the meaning of that sign. And when we hover over the moon phase, it'll show the meaning of that phase in that sign, the sign that the moon is in. I think I'm going to add, maybe in the add journal box, I'll put like a prompts button that will bring up a modal that lists the journal prompts for that day based on the tarot card and the moon phase. But yeah, so those are the changes that I've made. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with, let's see, what should I start with? Let's go ahead and go to my journal routes and we'll pull up the journal entry and then we'll do journal entry dot read equals 1 and then db dot session dot commit. So when we read a journal entry, let's import db. Once we visit this page, it'll mark the journal entry as read. So when we go back to the day page, it will no longer show that you have an unread journal notification. I hope that will work. I'll have to add some journals and test it out. I didn't add the functionality to save the journals or save the gratitude or anything like that yet. So we can close this. We can close space.py, forms.py. One thing I do want to add to my models in tasks, we've got a task, a day ID, and then we're going to add done is equal to db.column. That's a bool. And the default is going to be equal to 0. So it's not done by default. So let's go ahead and add that. Go to our terminal. Flask db migrate. And then Flask db upgrade. Okay. All right, so now let's see how to do this. I'm gonna add a new, I'm gonna add a new form in daily. And we'll call this our task list. Task list form is a Flask form. And let me see. I actually want to create, I followed Pretty Printed's tutorial on, what did he call it? Using multiple select fields with Flask WTF and Flask SQL Alchemy. So I'm hoping that this will work out. So I need to install something. Let's go to Python packages, and it is WT Forms Alchemy. So we'll install that. And then we'll do from WT Forms Alchemy, import query select multiple field. Okay. And then I'm going to create a new class. We'll say field with checkboxes. And that is going to inherit from query select multiple field. And then we need to do widget is equal to widgets dot list widget and prefix label is equal to true because I want the label to be before the checkbox. We need to import widgets from WT Forms. I think it's just from WT Forms. Let's see if that works, and if not, we'll do WT Forms components. Well, no, let's leave it like this since that's what it tried to import. Widget. Okay, yeah, no, I don't think that's right. I think it's, there we go. That's better. And then option widget is equal to widgets dot checkbox input. Okay, and now in my task list form, we will say tasks is equal to query select multiple field tasks. All right, and then how, let's see. Then we want a submit button, or we'll say, let's see, the task list, so we'll say mark complete is equal to submit field mark complete. Okay, now let's go to day and add our form. So that's going to go below the tasks, or no, that's going to be the tasks basically. So that is done by we'll make a form. So I'll just copy this and replace this. And then we want, we'll call this task list. Oops, that needs to be in brackets. Task list form dot tasks. And then a new line. And then task list form dot submit or mark complete. Okay. All right, I think that will work. It won't show anything right now because there's no tasks added. Let's go ahead and add the task list form to the routes. So let's do that right at the top. Task list form is equal to task list form. We'll import that. And then we want to do let's see. Task list form. Or here, we want to pass in data is equal to, and that is a dictionary with tasks. And then, you know what, we need to do this after day. So let's cut this out. We'll take that out and put this lower. So let's go below where we define day. So there's day is defined, but if it's not defined, we'll create a day. And then we'll do this right here. Create our task list form. And our tasks are equal to, we'll say completed tasks is equal to day dot tasks, or no, is equal to an empty list, and then for task in day dot tasks if task.done completed task.append task. And then here it will be completed tasks. I think that will work. And then we want to do task list form dot choices dot query is equal to day dot tasks. Okay. Now I need to create the ability to add a task. Oh, this needs to be dot tasks dot query. Okay. So now let's do if task form dot save. No, what did I call it for the task form? Add task. Add task dot data and task form dot validate. Then the task is equal to task form dot data, no, dot task dot data. And then, we create a new task with the task equal to the task. And done is going to be equal to 0 by default. So that's all we need to do. Oh no, we need to add a day ID. So let's import task. And then day ID is equal to day.id. db.session.add task. I'll call this new task since I already defined task. We'll add new task. And then db.session.commit. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then we'll do return redirect. We'll just copy this line from here. And we're going to redirect to the same day, but it should have the updated information. It should have the task on the task list. So let's see if that works, just to add a task. We'll refresh this page. Nope, I did something wrong. End block, unknown tag, end 4, line 68. Okay, take that out. So we've got one form, and then we've got the other form. Let me put a new line just in case it needs it. Okay, let's try that. Nope, what do I do now? Task list form is undefined because I didn't define it. That's a silly mistake. Let's make a new line. Task list form equals task list form. All right, try again. Okay. Oh, why is it like that? It should be a checkbox. Oh, because did I not, when I made the form, query select multiple field, that should be field with checkboxes. So field with checkboxes. Okay. Try that again. There we go. And let's only show the mark complete if there's tasks. So how can I do that? I wonder if I can just do, okay, so we'll do if day dot tasks, then we'll show the mark complete and if. So it doesn't need to show up if there's no tasks for the day. So it should refresh it, but it doesn't show that. So let's add a task. We'll call this task number 1. Add task. Okay, but I want it to show not just the object, but the, Okay, so I need to go to my database, and in my task models, we'll do def str and return self.task. Okay, so I think that will fix it. Task number 1, there we go. All right, let's add another task, task 2. All right, that is working. So now I want to, when we mark one as complete, we check the box and mark it as complete. When we go out of the page and come back, I want it to still be marked as complete. So let's try to add that functionality. So we'll go to routes. And then if task list form dot mark complete dot data and task list form dot validate, let's see. How do I get, it's just form, let's print task list form dot tasks dot data and see what that does. So we'll go here, refresh the page, and we'll check number 1 and number 2, mark complete, and what did we print? Let's go to our run, task 1 and task 2. Okay, so it gives us a list, yes, a list of objects. So, but that could be, let me see what happens if I just check 1. That should give me a list with 1 object in it. Perfect, okay. So we want to do for task in task list form dot tasks dot data task dot done equals 1, and then db dot session dot commit, and then we will come back out here and return to the day. So that should refresh the day with this still checked. So let's try that. We'll uncheck it, check task 2, mark complete. And now we're on November 8th with task 2 marked as done. So let's go to a different day with no tasks. And then let's come back to day 8, November 8th, and task 2 is marked as completed. And then let's see. Now how would I don't want to mark it not complete, but maybe I do want the ability to mark it as not complete. So how would I do that? Okay, so let's go through the tasks for the day. So for task in day.tasks, if task in task list form dot tasks dot data. So if the task is in what we return, that was checked. Then task.done is going to be equal to 1. Else task.done is going to be equal to 0. And then let's do db.session.commit out here. And then return. Okay. So now let's mark task 1 is done. So now I've got both of them marked as complete. Now if we unmark task 2, now task 2 is not complete. Let's go out and back to day 8, and task 2 is not complete. All right, that is working well. Now let's work on the journal. The prompts showing up only, or the extra form entries, form options showing up based on the entry type that's selected. So we want to do this if prompt is selected, and we want to do this if letter is selected. Anything else will just be the journal entry and the entry type. So we'll need to go to day and to our journal form, which is right here. And then we got journal entry, and then we put a new line. And then I'm going to put a div with, let me look at my old code, how I did this. Okay. And we're going to say style is equal to display none, and ID is going to be equal to prompt field. And then we'll do form dot, what did I call it for a journal entry? Prompt dot label, and then form dot prompt dot data. Okay, and then we want a div with no class. We're going to do style is equal to display none, and ID is going to be equal to date field. And I screwed this up. Let me fix this. That needs to go there, and this needs to go there. There we go. And then what did I call it? So, scheduled date. So we'll do form, and this needs to be journal form. Okay. And we'll do journal form dot scheduled date dot label, and then journal form dot scheduled date. Okay. And then we need to add some JavaScript down at the bottom. So we'll put this right here. And we're going to say function change. I have to remember how to write JavaScript. All right, and then var journal type is equal to document dot get element by ID, and the ID is going to be, oh, does it have an ID? It does have an ID automatically, right? Let's go ahead and add it just in case. So that's going to be in our journal. Journal type is right here. we're going to say ID is equal to journal type, and then on change is equal to change, which is going to be in quotes. Okay, I think that's it. Then we'll come down to our script, and the ID is journal type dot value. Nope, no parentheses. Okay. And then we're going to do if journal type is equal to letter, which has capital L, I believe. And that needs to be in parentheses because this is JavaScript, which I haven't written in a long time. And then we're going to do document.get element by ID, and we called it, if it's a letter, we want the date field. Dot style dot display equals block. Okay, so if the journal type is letter, then the style dot display will be block. Else, if, can you do else if like this? Journal, yeah, journal type is equal to prompt. Then we're going to do document.get element by ID prompt field dot style dot display is equal to block. And then we'll say else. And we'll say, we'll copy this line, paste it there, and it'll be none. And we'll copy this line and paste it there, and it will be none. Okay, I think that'll work, but let's check it out. Refresh the page, and I broke something. Expected end of print statement got on change. ID equals journal. Oh, that needs to be in the parentheses as well. Okay, let's go back here. And I don't think it needs a comma. It does need a comma. We'll close that there. Okay, let's try again. There we go. So if we are prompt, oh, we're not showing anything. If we are letter, we're not showing anything. So I screwed something up with my JavaScript. I called it change, right? Yeah. And then I said on change. Change. ID equals journal type. And then we've got prompt field and date field. Okay. So function change, that's what we called it. So on change, we should be running this function. So journal type is journal type dot value. So the value should be, how do you print in JavaScript? What is it? It's not print, it's a console.log. Okay. I think if I just do F12 and go to the console, then when I change this, it should be printing something at console. Change is not defined. How is change not defined? It's in a script tag, right? Missing after argument list. Where? What is that talking about? Okay. Function change. We have the close parentheses. Change is not defined. But it should be. It is. It's right there. Okay. Flask on change says function not defined. I misspelled function. On change function is not defined. It's only in scope inside the ready event handler. Move outside the event handler or handle the binding inside. What? So it's got to be a syntax error. I did something wrong. So let's look at my syntax. Okay. So function change, and we've got this open and closed, and we've got the journal type. Can you do else if with JavaScript? Let's look it up. Yeah, it says use else if. If, else if, condition 2, else, and okay, so that should be right. And then we want else if, that's in parentheses. We open this and close it here, and then we open this and close it here, and open this and close it here. And we've got, is it the semicolons that are messing me up? I doubt it, but let's try again. Missing 194. Is 194 the line that it's on? 194. No. What was that other number there? 37? I doubt that's it. That's early on here. 37. Yeah, it's not that, so it doesn't tell me what line we're missing it on. Show me the syntax error. Okay. Incorrect use of label 4 equals form element. The labels 4 attribute doesn't match any element ID. I don't know what that means. The correct ID of a form field. So what? We've got entry type. We've got schedule, date, and journal type. Or no, prompt. Schedule, date, and prompt. So let's look at we want to be down here. Prompt.label, schedule, date.label. Oh, that doesn't need to be .data. I don't think that's what's messing it up, but maybe. Okay. Let's try again. Nope, still getting that same error. Change is not defined. Filter. So what is filter in here? So what would so just add a name. It should have the name already. So name dot add event listener change. Let's just copy this line. Yeah, in PyCharm. So where does that go in the script? Let's put it below here. We'll say journal type, and then change. And then we'll take out the onChange line. And just take out all of that. Missing a close parentheses after argument list. Where? Oh, I can click that and it will show me something. What are you showing me? Shit, I didn't look at the number. Line 194. Document element by ID prompt field style display. Oh, okay. So that's prompt field. Yep, right there. Okay, so let's see if it works this way, and if not, I'll go back and add the onChange function. Let's look at console. But I fixed it. Okay, so let's add onChange back to, let's take this out and go up here to here. OnChange equals change. Okay. And I still have that print statement or the console.log, right? Yep. Let's try this again. Now what are we missing? Prompt field. I fixed it. Did I not fix it? Prompt field. Do I need to refresh the page? Oh, and put it right there. Okay. Okay, let's try again. All right, we don't see that error, so that's good. All right, we got letter and we got the scheduled date, prompt, and we don't have any choices because I haven't added those yet. Oh, but scheduled date didn't go away. Okay, so let's see how to fix that. All right, so if the journal type, let's take out this, is letter, then the date field will be none. And if the journal type is prompt, then I did that wrong. If the journal type is letter, then the prompt field will be none. And if the journal type is prompt, then the date field will be none. And if it's anything else, then both are none. Okay, let's try that. All right, so it's stream, it's letter, it's stream again, it's prompt, it's letter. Perfect. So the only issue is that when we are on letter, it starts on letter and it doesn't start with the scheduled date being displayed. So let's change it so that daily is the first one, which is easy. We just go to our forms and change this to daily. And we'll just change letter or daily to letter. Okay. That's good. Let's make sure that looks good. I can close this. Starts with daily, we got dream, we got reading, we got prompt, which gives us our prompt options, and we got letter, which gives us our scheduled date. So now let's add in the prompt options. So we need to go back here to routes. And what is our prompt? Journal entry. No, it's called journal form. So journal form dot prompt dot choices. This needs to be down here because it needs to be after day. So let's put it right here. Journal form dot prompt dot choices equals, and then we'll say, let's say prompts is equal to an empty list, and then for prompt in day dot phase dot prompts prompts dot append prompt, and then for prompt in day dot card dot prompts prompts dot append prompt, and then prompt dot id prompt, oh my goodness, prompt dot prompt for prompt in prompts. Okay, that should work. So let's refresh the page. Nope, data are prompts. Non-type object has no attribute prompts. Oh, because there's no card chosen. Okay, so if day.card ID, then we'll do this. There we go. Let's change to prompt. Now we've got a couple prompts for the moon phase. All right. I don't love how it looks, so I wonder. I think that's just CSS, but I am terrible with CSS. I'll leave it for now. Now let's go ahead and add the ability to add journals. So if journal form dot, what did I call it for journal form? Add journal. So if journal form dot add journal dot data and journal form dot validate, and I think I'll need a separate block of code here for each type of journal. Maybe not though. We'll say entry. All right, entry is equal to journal form dot journal entry dot data. And then what else do we have for a journal in the models? The type. Oh, so for letters, the day ID needs to be the day that the journal is being written for, which in theory, that day won't exist. So I'll need to create a new day. All right, let's see. Let's import journal. And the day ID we'll do last. So we're going to do journal type and then entry and written date. Okay. And then that's it. So if the journal type is prompt, new journal.prompt ID is equal to journal form.prompt.data. And then we'll do db dot right here. We'll do db dot session dot add new journal db dot session dot commit. Okay. Else, so if the type is letter, then scheduled day is equal to day dot query dot filter by date. Is that what I call it? Should just be date. Yep. Date is equal to journal form dot scheduled date dot data dot first. And then if not scheduled day is equal to a day. And how do we create a day up here? Oh, we need to do a lot, don't we? I should put this outside of it, but I'll just copy all of this. Shoot. So I guess we'll take this line. And then we'll take all of this. And paste it here and make some changes to it. Okay. So let's take that out for now. We'll call this scheduled day date. And then scheduled. This needs to be scheduled. And this needs to be scheduled. Now time we still have from above. Offset is right still. And the response, we'll call this scheduled response. And we want to put in date. So So we want to put in journal form dot scheduled date dot data. This will be journal form dot scheduled date dot data. Okay. That's good. That's the same. Scheduled phase database is, that's right. I'll call this scheduled day chart. And we want to pass in scheduled day, date, time. Moon is equal to scheduled day chart. Sun is equal to scheduled day chart. And we'll grab the sun sign and the moon sign and the moon phase. Okay, and then we'll say scheduled day is a day. The date equals scheduled day date. Got the moon phase ID, the sign ID, and then we'll add scheduled day, and chart equals the scheduled day chart. Day ID equals scheduled day.id. This is not the most efficient way to do this, but it's the laziest way to do it, and I'm lazy. Okay. I'll call this scheduled chart. I'll add scheduled chart, and we'll do db.session.commit. I need to use that phase db. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now I can create a journal entry. Now this needs to be scheduled response. Okay. So we've got our scheduled day. And if we don't have a scheduled day, we'll create one. And once it's created, we will do this line. But we will add, what are we adding? The scheduled date. So that is, oh, the day ID. Let's look at journal. And day ID is equal to scheduled day.id. Okay. And I need to add the day ID in up here. If I didn't already. I didn't. I just added the written date. So day ID is equal to day.id. Okay, so if it's not a letter, the day ID is day.id. If it is a letter, we'll create a new day. And day ID is equal to the scheduled day.id. It goes over the line a bit, but that's okay. We will do db.session.add new journal. And db.session.commit. Okay. Then we need to return this. And that needs to be indented right here. All right, let's see if that works. I'm sure I'm going to get some kind of bug. This is a daily journal entry. All right, we've got a daily journal entry right here. And if I click that, it should take me here. But, oh, I called it journal. Let's go here. Journal entry. Okay. Oh, I don't do the CK editor. I'll have to fix that. But for now it works. That's what I wanted. It takes me to the page. It shows the type of journal and the journal entry. I just got to get the CK editor. Or no, I don't. Not the CK editor. I just need to do here safe. Okay, let's refresh that. There we go. All right, that looks boring, but it works. That's what we wanted. Now let's add a letter for, let's say November 18th for November 19th. Dear November 19th self, keep up the good work. See if that works. All right, it didn't add it down here. I wonder why not. If I go to November 19th, it should say I have an unread letter. It does not, and it doesn't have any journal entry. So let's look at my database. Where's that at? Right here. Okay. And look at journal. We've got a letter. Written date. Day ID is day 10. What day is day 10? 11/8. Why do we have two 11/8s? That shouldn't be happening. But we did create 11/19. So I just passed in the wrong day ID and created another day. Why did I create another day? And it has the wrong moon phase ID. I wonder why that is. Let's look back at November 8th and see what happens. Well, I'm going to take a break and figure this out when I come back to it.